Hello, my name is Barry, and this is my bed. Do you have chronic bed rot? Welcome as we embark on the finale. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Life After Lockup, Season 2. Finale episode. Ayo, ayo, ayo. I'm ready for a gypsy break. We're just gonna get straight to it, guys. We ain't messing around. This episode opens up where we see Gypsy in cutoff and she's making a bottle for Aurora. At the same time, there's a voiceover and clips of her in an interview, okay? She's stating in the interview that she had a phone call with Ryan for the first time in 6 months and it went very well. It was civil. She says she liked the way they bantered because it felt like a friendship. But of course, they talked business. They talked post-divorce and paternity. She kind of makes it sound like that's why she called him, was the post-divorce conversation and something about the paternity test. But we all know that she was calling him because she wants to see him. She's been trying to contact him for months. She wanted to see him the day of the divorce. She was trying to contact him for that, contacting his mother for that. She wanted to see him the day that Aurora was born. She was contacting him for that, contacting his mother for that. His lawyer, she is a crazy person. She's been wanting to see Ryan forever. And of course, we talked business. Bitch, please. Now I feel like you're using your daughter in the paternity as an excuse to talk to your ex-husband. Gross, Gypsy. You're a gross human. She says she told Ryan that she thinks him and his lawyer are holding up this whole paternity thing. I was real with him. So they agreed to do a paternity test. We agreed to meet at the same place at the same time. Which is a weird way of saying it, right? Seems like she's trying to make it sound as innocent as possible. Like, oh, it wouldn't matter if we made these plans or not, because we're doing the same thing at the same time. We would have just bumped into each other otherwise. Is that what you're trying to say? So innocent. But it's going to be her, Ryan, and Aurora all meet to have a test and have a nice interaction. She says she told Ken everything that was communicated. He was at work last night, so I texted him. I guess that was good enough, right? Just like whenever she told him he was the dad and the paternity test came in, she texted him because he was busy at work till 10. Oh, I'm going to meet up with my ex-husband with your daughter so we can take another paternity test because he's not accepting the one that you took. Send. She tells production that Ryan and his lawyer could accept the test that was already taken, but Ryan's refusing to acknowledge it. So if they need this, then I'm going to give it to them. How nice of you, Gypsy. How nice, putting your ex-husband's wants and needs before your own, your daughter's, and her real dad. Where was this attitude when you were married to him? Huh? She really tries to make it sound so innocent, and she doesn't tell production that she's sending pictures of her, glamour shots, and pictures of Aurora to Ryan. She doesn't mention that. It's all business. She had an important reason for calling, so it's okay to talk to your ex-husband, right? It cuts to Ken's house, and there's some anxiety, somber music, as there's a voiceover while he's cleaning in the kitchen, of course, typical clean Ken. In his voiceover, he says Gypsy's been gone for a week, and his little Aurora hasn't been at the house, so it's been depressing and lonely there before he leaves for work every day. Production asks if Gypsy called, and I wonder who they had a conversation with first, because we just saw that Gypsy said she texted Ken. She didn't call, but they're asking if she called. So I'm just curious. Because I wonder if production was trying to get a rise out of him by asking, did she call you? Knowing that she texted him. Because he gets upset. He's like, she didn't call me. I got a text.
She didn't call me about anything. She texted me. And just told me, hey, we're doing another paternity test. We don't know when, but, it's going to happen sometime this week or next. And then, yeah.
She said they're doing another paternity test because Ryan hasn't accepted the one they've already taken because he hasn't been tested, even though it's clear as crystal. I guess denial is a crazy thing, he says. I never thought I would agree with Ken, but I 100% agree with Ken. But I also think that he deserves this. He deserves to get pissed off at this. He deserves someone be causing him a little trouble for being a crazy homewrecker. I felt really bad for Ryan after season 1. If you watched my previous videos, very team Ryan. But as season 2 played out, and the more I've watched his lives and things and how much he talks, he's really just torturing himself. He's doing it to himself. It's like, do you have any self-respect, man? Why are you even putting yourself through the damn test? They already took one. We all know who the father is. The only reason for Ryan to take a paternity test at this point is if Ken hadn't taken one already. So we don't know who the father is. There has been a test taken. A father has been established. What are we doing, Ryan? Ryan is delusional on hope and denial. He has hope that this test is wrong and he's the dad. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of loose ends to tie up. He doesn't even have the full story yet. He just found this out last night. Production asks him how he feels about Gypsy meeting up with Ryan and Aurora alone, and he crosses his arms. He's like, I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think I'm gonna let that happen. It's just the fact that, like, we're dragging Aurora through the mud on this when she doesn't need to be. Like, it's more damaging to the healing process to just keep stretching this out longer and longer and longer.
He's like, it's more damaging to the healing process to keep stretching this out longer and longer and longer. You go do what you need to do, but Aurora's not going to be there for it. If I have anything to do with it. He says he can go take Aurora at a different time to go give her sample. Gypsy can go do what she's going to do, but Aurora doesn't need to be in the mix of that. And despite all your feelings about Ken, he's right here. You know what I mean? Like, he is the father. I get that Ryan's on the paternity test, but that don't mean shit. It's just legal, so the longer he stays on the birth certificate, she can file for child support and he'd have to pay it. That's what that means, Ryan. Get your name off the birth certificate, bro. ASAP. Idiot. Moron. Next, Gypsy's going to take her driving test. She gets picked up by the same instructor, but this time in a different car. She's like, oh, you got a different car. I hope it's not too big for you, the instructor says. It's a little different. And they show Gypsy when she's signing the paperwork how close she sits to the steering wheel, and I was laughing so hard. The instructor tells her to go ahead and go, and she's like, well, you gotta put your foot on the brake to change the gear. That's why she couldn't change the gear. She goes to put her foot on the brake, and she puts it on the gas instead and starts revving. I'm pretty sure Rod was there the first time she took her driving test too and watched her leave, right? I don't know, but he watches her leave this time. He's like, well, at least she made it out of the driveway, and then laughs.
She made it out of the driveway. That's good.
So it is.
He had a goofy laugh. No, like Goofy from Mickey Mouse.
She made it out of the driveway. That's good.
So
While Gypsy's driving, they have a voiceover of her talking about how she wants to get a driver's license so she can have more independence. She wants to be there for Aurora, but also be able to have a life and drive herself.
Can't allow myself to not have my own identity. That's where my mother messed up.
I was her whole life and her whole existence, and that's where she messed up, is what she's saying. And she's trying to grow as an individual to be a good mom. She really likes to take digs at her mom. Any chance she gets. She can't move on. But she says her mom was all about her, and she didn't have her own self-identity, when really you think like, okay, well, good mom, right? Like, all about their kids all the time. I get she doesn't have her own, like, you'd want a woman to be like, okay, be you too, not just all about the kids, but you're saying you don't want to be all about your kids. Right? She wants independence. She doesn't want to be tied down by a baby. The rest of the driving test, you just see Miss Bev telling her what to do. Turn on your blinker, turn right. They make it to the Blanchard home, and Miss Bev passes her, and she jumps at her to give her a hug, and be like, if Gypsy Rose Blanchard jumped at me like that, I'd be like, bitch. No warning. But Miss Bev went in for a second hug at the end, so... And I feel like she only passed her because she's on TV. But I really do think it's crazy that they pass 17-year-olds, because it's just the same thing. They just tell you what to do the whole test, and then you pass it, and it's like, you're allowed to drive now. Next, we're at Ken's house, and we see Gypsy being interviewed by production, and she's talking about how she had made plans to go meet with Ryan and Aurora at a lab to get results at the same place at the same time. She uses that verbiage again. Something that I feel like she really leaned on when explaining this to Ken about meeting Ryan. She says that Ken has high reservations about this and gave her an ultimatum. That if she goes and does this, then their relationship is in jeopardy.
In the moment, high emotions took hold and he said things that he regrets.
Like that he would move back to Texas and take custody of Aurora. She says that she's not going to risk her family for a face-to-face with Ryan when there's other ways of getting samples. Because that's all this was about, just getting the samples, right? Divorce was on December 9th, and this is like, what, January now, I guess? So yeah, she's been trying since before December to get a hold of him to meet him face to face for their closure moment.
Closure moment.
Why? Why is this so important for her to meet him face to face? And I think production asks her something along the lines of this, like, well, you really want to see him, don't you? Like something like that, but they cut it out because then the next part she says she would like to have a moment where they could have had a closure moment to themselves. She wanted to see him again so they could end on amicable terms. The way they ended, there's no way to make it better. She has to weigh her options, she says, if she can have this friendly moment with Ryan or she can have this family that she's built. The whole time she's having this conversation, she's at Ken's house and she's sitting in the dining room, okay? So I'm wondering if the way she's wording things is because Ken's around somewhere. Then there's a time lapse and they show a sign hanging above the entryway that says, "Together we are family." Ken's being interviewed and he's like, I understand that I'm not the most compassionate person in this scenario. He's self-aware of that, but he wouldn't feel this way and be so pissed off about it if it wasn't that they already taken the test and paternity wasn't already established. Which I get it. I hate agreeing with Ken. I hate it so much. It makes my skin crawl. Ooh. Got the chills. Ken says that he wants to protect Aurora from all the drama and he wants to protect Gypsy's emotional state. He says he sees the best version of Gypsy when she's moving forward and not looking in the past. She's muddying up the waters. And he doesn't even know the half of it. He just thinks Gypsy's trying to have a paternity test and having a friendly closure moment with him. He has no idea she's sending pictures and talking to him, basically emotionally cheating. So after his little interview, they show him getting ready to say goodbye, but we don't see them on camera. They just have a shots in the nursery, so you can't see body language or facial features when this conversation goes down.
Alright, baby, I gotta work. Sorry we couldn't spend more time together, but this weekend's gonna be crazy for me. Love you. You can't wait for me to get home tonight. No, I'm saying that you can't wait here for me. Alright.
Hear her tone of voice? And what was that part about Ken saying, like, no, you can't wait here for me? What does that even mean? That whole interaction was weird and I wish I could have seen it. In my opinion, I feel like she got an attitude and then he got embarrassed by the rejection. I was like, oh no, I said, you can't wait here for me. I don't know. Because why would he tell them that they can't wait there? Of course your girlfriend and your baby could wait there for you. It makes no sense to me. That conversation was so weird. And it was super awkward. And when he said bye, he was like at the door and said bye and she didn't say anything back. So he leaves and then production starts interviewing Gypsy and she says she's going back to cutoff and she's going to be away from Ken for a while. And they're like, how's that been? She's like, it's been rough. She says it's hard to keep up with a relationship when you're in two different places. But you're closer to Ken than you are to Ryan. Ryan's 3.5 hours away from you in Lake Charles. Ken's what, an hour and a half away? But you're keeping up with Ryan all nice like. She says she's been very clear on what her needs are. She wants cuddles. I want snuggles.
And words of affirmation.
And Ken doesn't think about that stuff. And I don't get it, she says. Okay, yeah, you might feel like you love me, but you say it, but do you show it? She feels like they're the most distant than they ever have been, and he thinks they're great. But when you get down to the nitty-gritty of it, is it gone for you? The spark, the flame, the energy. She feels like a lot of things have drained us, and we need to have more communication. And we both need to open up about realistic expectations of one another. But all season, she's been saying she's worked on the communication with Ken. She mentioned it last episode that she's been working on communication with Ken. It was like episode 2. Mia asked her if she'd been working on her communication with Ken, and she said yes. But now it's we need to work on our communication. They both do. Last episode, she tried to be better at her communication. She was saying how she felt, and then he shut her down, and she cowered, and then was like, well, yeah, I wasn't saying you. Shit like that. But she walked all over Ryan. Oh, and while this conversation is going on, like they're showing her like getting ready to leave, taking her meds, Aurora's napping, and they show a sign on the wall. She got some hate for this online, like putting signs up all over the house for Ken, which he has ADHD, and that's just, I mean, people do that with ADHD. They put up signs for themselves for reminders and things like that. But over time, this is a type of a reminder you don't really need anymore. So I'm gonna read them out for you because I think it's funny. So at the top it says Aurora's daily care. It says she needs to be fed every 2 hours with 3 hours of Similac, burp well, change diaper as needed, tummy time 3 times a day for 3 minutes, naps or wake windows use a Mamaroo swing, bedtime sleep swaddled in a crib, do not use ignore crying method, all caps. Because, I mean, after a while, you're going to remember, okay, she naps in the Mamaroo, she sleeps at night in the crib. Tummy time at this age, though, is a little interesting. I've seen in my comments it's too young. Did a doctor tell her to do this? And if I feel like Ken's out here using the ignore crying method, which makes sense to me because he's been so, our peace and quiet's going to be gone. Cheers to our last month of peace and quiet. There's going to be a crying baby in here in 2 months. Can you believe it? Yeah. Makes sense. He's trying to block out the screaming child. Gypsy's talking to production again, but this time she's in cutoff. She's talking about how she had texted Ryan and told him that she can't meet up with him because Ken's uncomfortable with it and he has that right. He is Aurora's father. And Ryan blew up over that. And then he had an ultimatum for her, and his was that meet up with me or she stays in Anderson forever. Then they show the texts with the delusional threats. Yeah, he's on the birth certificate, but what does he think he can do? There's a paternity test. He's literally sick in the head. She'll stay at Anderson forever because he refuses to sign the papers. That's it? Please. Does he think it works that way, or does he just think Gypsy's that dumb? And that she'll believe it? Because she does. And then she calls her lawyer immediately, asking him, like,
Does he have rights?
her lawyer's like, he's on the birth certificate, but he doesn't have paternal rights. Her lawyer tells her that they should get a court order to establish paternity. She's like, and they'll do it like a hearing in front of everybody. She's like, yeah, let's do that. And it's like, why haven't they done this already? What's going on? Why are you just now talking about this if it's a problem? Confused on why there's just now mentioning of a court order. So she also told him that she's uncomfortable and she's going to stop texting him. I really believe she was kind of feeding into his narrative of his belief that he might be the dad. Why wasn't she cutting that shit out more and telling him, like, no, we already have a dad? Like, I mean, he is delusional, but I feel like it's because of her. She feeds him a certain narrative and he believes it. He believes anything she says. He's trapped under her spell, her Bayou voodoo spell. Ken shows up and he sits down in the living room with Gypsy, Aurora, Christy, and Gigi's there. I guess Christy's going to watch Aurora while Ken and Gypsy go to her lawyer's office to file the court order. Gypsy's telling them how she had to pay a fee, and she asked the lady if the fee included another test. And she's like, well, that depends on how cooperative Ryan's going to be. And Ken gets all hot. We've seen how he's been. Christy scoffs like he's being a dick right now. He's being a dick. And Gigi's like, he's showing his true colors. I'm pretty sure they deserve a little bit of trouble for this. After all, how she got pregnant in the first place. Yeah, he's delusional, but I love that he's putting them through the ringer here. Ken's like, Ryan's not going to use my daughter as a chess piece. Christy's like, nope. Then they show a flashback of Gypsy and Ryan together and all their happy moments, and a voiceover of Gypsy talking about, I know why Ryan reacted this way, because he wanted to see me, because he still loves me. Ryan always made me feel seen for the person underneath, but at this point in time, we can't be friends. And if roles were reversed, how would I feel if Ken was talking to one of his exes? So she admits she's talking to Ryan. She's in a talking stage with Ryan. She's emotionally cheating with Ryan. They're not just talking for important reasons like paternity being established. She wants to talk to him. She's bitching about Ken to him. Sending glamour shots to him. And sleepy photos. You know why I love Gypsy knows I love her like sleepy like that. That's not even fair. Which I was wondering if people in other countries know what the term glamour shots is referring to. Because in the 80s and 90s, well, in the 2000s, I got some done when I was 16. But glamour shots, it's a place that was like in a mall usually, where you could go and get photos done, where you see like spoof memes of 80s and 90s photos. Those are glamour shots. It's a term we use for a fancy photo. She's not really sending her, she didn't go to glamour shots and get photos done, but it's a headshot of her looking all fancy and nice, all dialed up. It's our glamour shots. So after their little flashback, it cuts back to them sitting in the living room, and Ken says he has no desire to deal with somebody who's in denial. Christy cuts in. She's like, I got bail money. Ken's like, I'll catch a charge for my kid. It's like, oh yeah, I'd catch a charge. You know I'd catch a charge. She's trying to look all cool and appealing for Ken. Because you know Christy's got a big old fat lesbian crush on Ken.
I've got a big lesbian crush on you. Suck on that!
Gypsy says she felt like she was in the middle. She's like, I got you texting me. I've got him going on a rant. It's like, let's all be civil. Let's just calm down. She's loving this. She's living for every moment of it. She's smiling, and you can see it in the tone of her voice.
Me too, I catch a charge. You know?
So, we're not going to deal with this. We're not going to.
Was in the middle. And I'm like, I had you texting me. I had him going on a rant.
She loves men fighting over her. It's truly unhinged. I mean, not really. We all kind of like that, don't we? But come on. This is immoral at this point. You can see the light in her eyes when she talks about it. He was on a rant. There's a voiceover of Ken, and he's like, Gypsy's told me everything. The threats he's making, we're going to get this taken care of and cleared up as soon as possible. Like, you know everything, sir? Do ya? What about the glamour shots? What about the pictures of your daughter? That one's gonna really bug you. You can call me an asshole all you want, but I'm not going to babysit the delusions of a man that's 10 years older than me. We're going to shut this shit down. Well, Mr. Ken, you'd be singing a different tune if you really did know everything, wouldn't ya? Like how your girlfriend's emotionally cheating on you with her ex-husband? And complaining about you? Not just to him, but to us? Next we see Ryan, and he's driving to his attorney's office. He says his attorney's a straight shooter. And he'll tell you like it is, because maybe I'm delusional, and that is how it is. Yes, Ryan, you are delusional. You said it. Kate, the words came out of your mouth. Then it cuts to Ken and Gypsy, and they're driving to her attorney's office. And Ken's like, let's get this started, even though we've already done it. And Gyps cuts in. She's like, it's hard for me too, you know. She's like, every time I feel like we can be at a good place with each other and friendly towards one another, it's just drama comes into the mix. I wonder why, Gypsy. You're leaning on your ex-husband for emotional support and guidance. Words of affirmation. You want to be friendly with your ex-husband. The only time you can be friends with your ex-husband is when y'all have kids together. And you made sure you didn't have that with Ryan. Seems like you're regretting it. Ken says, it's unfortunate. Sometimes this just happens in life. It's not the first time it's happened to somebody, you know. What did he mean by that? What does that mean? What does that mean? Stop bitching about it? This happens to everybody? I don't know. Does he even know what he's saying? He's so full of shit. Her response is that she's sorry she didn't listen to him. It's like, don't be sorry. I know you had good intentions. And it's a shame it couldn't be that way. My good intentions always backfire.
Try to approach situations with a kind heart and a level of understanding that someone in a unbiased situation like you wouldn't understand. I just get proven wrong all the time.
We're all human. We mess up sometimes and we do things we shouldn't, but you got a good heart and it shows.
So thank you.
They arrive to the attorney's office. So she's feeding this narrative to Ken that she was just trying to be nice and so they could meet up at the same time at the same place to take the paternity test. It's no big deal, and they could have their closure moment too. That's it. He could get closure. I was just trying to be nice and be friendly to him. I didn't want anything out of it. It was all for him. I was just trying to be a good person with good intentions.
They just blow up in my face with all Ryan's drama.
Again, this conversation would be so different if Ryan knew about all the text messages and the pictures. Chicken and China, the Chinese chicken. Next we see Ryan. He's at his attorney's office. He's got two, a younger guy and an older guy. The older guy's name is Randy. That's the straight shooter. The younger guy is talking about how it's weird that Gypsy got a paternity test done before the baby was born. He's used to the post-birth. He thinks that Gypsy was trying to thwart the law and get around that, like, loophole it. So he's just explaining, you know, like he's going to take a test. It's going to show Ken's the dad. All three of you sign the affidavit. It goes over to vital records and they'll change the birth certificate. And they can avoid court. Randy pops in. He's like, have you been in contact?
Been in contact with her?
Yes.
Why?
Yes. And he's like, why? Which I love that he asked that. Well, we were going to get together and take the test and she wants me to meet her baby. Randy goes, is that all? Ryan's like, no, well, we miss each other's friendship. It's touch and go. We both care about each other, but we haven't talked about getting back together or anything. He's like, okay, so it's not romantic. And he's like, well, we flirted. And he's like, she flirts? No, she can't help herself. I don't think she can help herself. Ryan, the ego on you is ridiculous.
Yeah, we flirted, but nothing like.
She still flirts.
Well, I mean, she can't help it. I don't think she can help it.
You think that's healthy for you?
No, it's not.
Randy's like, do you think this is healthy? He's like, no, it's not. I knew you'd say that. Randy's like, how many times have I told you? He's like, so many. You told me so many times. Production interviews Randy, and he's like in his office by himself being interviewed. When I first met Brian, he'd be hopeful there was still a marriage. He called him Brian. He was desperately in love, actually. So he's not surprised that he wanted to be friends. He doesn't understand Gypsy, though. There's that whole Gypsy's got over him is powerful in the beginning, but it's gotten a little better. And the way he said powerful made me think of that Bayou voodoo magic she's got on him. He's whipped. This conversation with the lawyer ends with him asking if it'll still have his name on the birth certificate for a couple months. And they're like, yeah, it. He called it Aurora. She has a name. And I feel like it's interesting that he asked if the baby would still have his name on the birth certificate for several months. Like, I guess, yeah, that's something you would probably ask and know in this scenario. But at the same time, the way he's using it against Gypsy makes me feel like he wants to know how many months he can still do that. Then we're at Ken's house, and Ken's holding Aurora, and Gypsy's talking about her list she made. She wants to go over her list with Ken that she made about things she wants to do when she's off parole because she can't do it now. Her list is move in with Ken, travel out of state for fun. So I guess New York wasn't fun, San Francisco or LA weren't fun. Drink at a bar. I'm surprised that one wasn't number one on the list, Gypsy. Be free of people always reporting me of dumb shit to my parole. Talk to prisoners about prison reform. What exactly is she going to do again with that? Or she just wants to talk to her old friends. You know, her old friends were the chomos. Do you know what a chomo is? Child molester. Could you hear it? I don't know. Child, mo, Esther. She wants to go to Vegas, go to Hawaii, and go to Iceland. Ken says yes, all those, and nods along. That's a good one. Yeah. Okay. Then we hear in a voiceover Gypsy say that they were intimate for the first time last night in a long time and help them reconnect. But she's still wanting them to be the best versions of themselves. So she's still not satisfied. The grass is always greener on the other side. Loves me, he loves me not. Something's always standing in the way of her happiness. It's sad. And right now it seems like her and Ken are having trouble with the same love language. She's either got to accept that they're different or she needs to move on and find somebody else with the same love language as her or can give her what she wants and needs. Hugs and cuddles. She says that she has an issue with self-sabotaging. She has a fear that someone won't stay when things get stressful with her because she pushes them away.
For someone to actually stay and fight through the pushing is extremely important.
So is this all her some way of testing Ken to see if he'd stay through all the bullshit like she does with Ryan? She knows she got Ryan. Is she trying to get Ken too like that? Newsflash. The only reason Ken wouldn't leave now is because of Aurora, and you'll never know if that's true or not. If he's staying just because of you, or if he's just staying because of Aurora, and you're never gonna know. Ken takes her to get her driver's license, and there's a voiceover of Gypsy talking about her independence again. She's always seen people drive in and how she thought it was cool and mature and grown up. I always had feared that I couldn't do it, so it's not that I'm just proving my mom wrong, I'm proving my past wrong. What does that have anything to do with your mom, though? Always talking about your mom. And I wish I knew what question production asked her for her to say that. I'll read it word for word. because I kind of jumped around. Okay. Ken takes her to get her driver's license, and we hear a voiceover of Jit talking about how when she sees people drive, she thinks, wow, how cool, mature, and grown up. I always had a fear that I couldn't do it. So it's not just proving my mom wrong, but it's proving my past wrong. And I wish I knew what the question production asked her here so I could get some context, because I don't understand why she said that part about her mom. But she's excited to get her independence. Independence of going where she wants, when she wants. I wonder if she's going to buy a car. They all get back into the car, and Ken asks if she wants to get in the driver's seat. She's like, yeah. He's like, nope. She's like, I knew it. So no one wants to drive the car. That's crazy. Everyone's scared of her driving a car. They're all scared of her to drive, and that says something to me. I don't know what it says, but it says something. I wonder how much drive time she's got in since then. No one trusts her behind the wheel. Ken takes her out for a treat for getting her license. They go and get coffee, and then he gets a Danish and a carrot cake, and she gets a red velvet cake, in case anybody cares. I thought someone would be interested, and if you do, can you please comment and let me know that you cared, that I shared that bit of information, because I thought it was interesting. Somebody will think it's interesting too. Okay? She likes red velvet cake. Interessante. Cheers to a new driver on the road. She's like, are you scared? He's like, yep. It's okay, I'm gonna drive like a mama. She really went out of her way to put a Cajun accent on that mama. I'm gonna drive like a mama. She's trained real hard.
It's okay, I'm gonna drive like a mama.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I know I've been busy the last couple weeks with work, but I love you. She's like, oh, I love you too. Like, she's so shocked he just said it to her.
Yeah, but I love you. I'm happy that we got to spend this morning together.
I love you too.
And how you feeling? You okay?
Much better.
Good.
He's like, how are you doing? She's like, better, or something like that. I don't know. She's in a good mood. She's in a good mood, you know. This is the same day she got laid last night, so she's good. It's about to be Valentine's Day, and he's like, he has to work, so he has something planned for them on Sunday for Valentine's Day. She's like, what did we used to do on Valentine's Day when I was in prison? He's like, I don't know, a call and a card. And part of me feels like she got him and Ryan confused. Like, Ryan probably had some extravagant shit he had done for her on Valentine's Day. Wrong one, Gypsy. It's the wrong one you're talking to right now. You mixed them up. She'll probably ask Ryan that question later and then get mad at Ken for not doing something extravagant like that on Sunday. She says on Valentine's Day she wants to play a board game, watch a movie, and do a bubble bath. He's like, I didn't want everybody to know that, but okay. Not in the little tub, in the big tub, which confirms to me that she got the smaller bathroom, like I said, when she wanted the bigger one. She ignores the bit he said about, and I didn't want anybody to know that, but okay. She doesn't say apologize or say anything. She just keeps going and grabs her fork. She's like, puts it in backwards, like, and you never asked me. Like, asked you what? Valentine. She's got food in her mouth.
You haven't asked me
Asked you what?
if I'm gonna be your Valentine.
Oh.
You didn't ask me.
She was trying to be all seductive, like. Talking with your mouth full is gross, Gypsy. It's not hot. Swallow first. Oh, wait. You have trouble swallowing. Okay, that was mean. That was mean. Ah. So she asked, you haven't asked me to be your Valentine yet. He's like, well, wait till tomorrow. She's like, what? She's like, give me your hands. He's like, no. Give me your hands. Okay. Gypsy Rose, will you be my Valentine?
Yes. Will you be my Valentine?
Oh man.
No.
Oh man.
Will you be my Valentine this year, Gypsy Rose?
Yes.
Okay.
Will you be my Valentine?
Absolutely.
So awkward. Then we see Ryan, and he's on his way to go get swabbed for the DNA test. He says Jib's been pushing for this, and Ken's been waiting on this, but I don't give a damn what Ken's been waiting on. Who knows? Maybe the baby will stay in Anderson forever if it's mine. And he chuckles. Play that clip.
Who knows? Maybe the baby will stay Anderson forever if I'm the dad.
He says the dates are too close and he has to be sure. He has to be 100% sure before he signs rights over for that baby. He thinks he could be the father after there's been a paternity established. He still thinks there's a chance. There's a sliver of the test is wrong. Yeah. He's really torturing himself here. What is he doing to himself? But he's really I'm here for what he's doing to Gypsy and Ken. God dang. He's like, this may be the last chapter of the book. Close the book. Maybe that's what we want. I don't know. Yes, that's what you should want, dude. Close the goddamn book. Burn it. You would think you would hate her after what she's done to you, but Jesus Christ. Because Gypsy and Ken with Aurora on a family outing to the aquarium for their first time when she's 2 months old because she's asleep the whole time and she knows what's going on. They're interviewing Gypsy in front of a big tank of fish behind her. She says she's been preparing herself ever since she went into prison for something bigger, like this, motherhood, and being a great partner. Well, you sucked at it with Ryan, so let's hope second time yeah, get it right. Wait. You put your first one in prison. Well, then what you did with Ryan. So third time's the charm. Right, Gypsy? She says it's going to be a forever journey to discover who she is. So she feels like she's never going to find out who she is in life. It'll go on for her rest of her life, the journey of self-discovery. A never-ending story for Gypsy, is what she's saying. Which is not how you would explain, like, when you want to find self-discovery, there's an end to that. You know what I mean? You're on a journey of self-discovery. One day you'll find yourself. And you'll know who you are. To me, she's just going to keep changing her appearance, changing her personality, changing who she is for the rest of her life. Changes like the season for Gypsy. She gets to release a butterfly for its first flight or something. It didn't even want to come off of there. It was so scared of her. It was trembling. It didn't move. I'm exaggerating, okay, guys? But yeah, it took a couple times, and then they are like, okay, here, take this off. Here, do this. Okay, take a flower and take a flower at it. And if it doesn't hop on the flower, then we'll try something else. And she goes at it with the flower, and then it flew away. Oh, and she's talking about in a voiceover how when she was a little kid, she used to run around and chase butterflies in her backyard. So I guess that was before she was forced to be confined in a wheelchair, right? And you had such a horrible childhood. But I got to chase butterflies. Yeah. And while Ken's being interviewed, they got, voiceover of him talking while they're showing them all corny, watching the butterfly fly away.
It's going to get even better in a few months when she's finally off parole. We can actually travel and go see more stuff. And she's been the best mother I could ever want for my child. And I'm super proud that I get to.
I understand that there are rules when you're on parole, but what is the big deal? You know what I mean? She can't travel and she can't drink. That's about it. Listen, I've never been on parole, and I've never been to New York City. I've never been to San Francisco, and I've never been to LA. She's been to all those places while on parole. She has traveled. She's very well traveled now. She has a driver's license. She could get a job if she tried. She could live a very well adult life if she tried. So what? I guess she can't go to Disney for the 500th time. He's saying she's been the best mom he could think of for his kid. He's enjoying this journey that the three of them are on. He's loving every glorious moment of it. He used the word glorious. He says he's the happiest he's ever been. Meanwhile, the mother of his child is miserable and he's not doing enough and emotionally cheating on him. And bitching about you every chance she gets. Cut back to Ryan and he shows up to get the DNA test done. And the music, it's playing. Oh my gosh. So the song is playing the whole time, okay? And the words of the song will play, then there's some instrumental, and while the instrumental plays, Ryan's talking, and then with the words of the song, Ryan's talking, words of the song, the words of the song for the whole thing, listen. Okay. Your sadness is a good companion and never lets you down. No resolve in this lifetime. No complimentary prize for second place. So meanwhile, the interview that's going on while that song is playing, he talks about how he never expected that he would be doing this. He was married to Gypsy. He wouldn't have Gypsy's kid, and now he's taking a test to prove that he's not the father of Gypsy's kid. And he looks so sad the whole time the woman's prepping the shit and swabbing him. Because he knows deep down he's not the dad. He's seen the test results. Idiot. She finishes and he's like, that's it? It's not some big extravagant thing that it's the end. That's over, Ryan. It's done. Production asked him in what way is he ready for a definitive ending. And he's like, I mean, in life, do you ever really get endings? That's why I don't like goodbyes. Because you never know what the next day will bring. The only thing I can do in this life is keep living. Livin. Be a lot cooler if you did, Ryan. Be a lot cooler if you did. 2 weeks later. Ryan is not the father. Cuts to Ken's house and we see that baby Urker blanket again for like the 5th time. She's still not an Urker. Ken's holding baby Aurora and Gypsy's on the floor cleaning and she has that bob shortcut haircut. So this is close to the last day of filming. From her like little interview in the hush hush tones where he heard her. Yeah. She says she posted the second paternity test and he's like, oh, who's the dad? Who do you think? Gypsy says that Ryan went live a couple times and he hasn't mentioned the paternity at all. Is embarrassed. He literally thought he was the dad. He literally thought he was. Ken's like, so Ryan being a petty little bitch can't stand in our way anymore. Kenan! Then it cuts to her and she's in that interview on Ken's bed in the hush hush tones and she's talking about how Ryan's just a bag of mixed emotions right now. She says she can't judge Ryan because she's been there and still is there with healing. She's not over what Ken did to her. Still. Cuts back to them in the living room and Ken's still going on about how Ryan knew all along and he just wanted to drag Aurora through the mud because he's a petty little bitch. She's nervously laughing and she's like, I'm gonna stay out of this. I'm Switzerland. And he goes, I'm Germany. She's like, yeah, but did you get that reference? Like, yeah. Like, World War II, they stayed out of the war. She's like, no, in Twilight, Bella didn't want to get in between Jacob and Edward. So I mean, this goes to her story. You know, it's a check mark in her box that she didn't go to school.
You get that reference though? In Twilight, Bella says,
then I have no
I'm
idea.
Switzerland because she didn't want to get in between Edward and Jacob's.
Really, Gypsy? I laughed so hard when I watched this. I could not believe it.
Yeah, but do you get that reference?
Bitch, do you get that reference? So hold up, wait a second. All right. She quotes Twilight. Twilight is referencing World War II. She knows nothing about World War II. She doesn't know that Bella is making a reference to World War II. So she just thinks that Bella's just randomly saying, I'm Switzerland in the middle of a fight with no meaning to it at all. Just, I'm Switzerland. And then she says it too. Like, what the fuck? Is there anything up there? Hello? There's this part in the, in her little interview on Ken's bed when she's talking and her hair's all messed up and they don't do anything about it. No one fixes it. Production would normally like fix your hair for you so you look nice if they like you. She says that no matter how hard her and Ken try, they can't give up on each other. So I guess she was trying to give up on him. And we see Ken talking about how him and Gypsy are in a really good place right now. So this must be before he heard her talking about Ryan on their last day of filming in the interview room. Because he's on his way to buy her an engagement ring. He goes to a ring store. He's like, I've never been to a ring store. She's like, well, welcome to the ring store. He wants to propose to her on her first day off parole. But he never did. And we now know why. Because in Gypsy's Live, the video I showed you in my last video, Gypsy talked about in her live that Ken overheard the conversation about how she was sending pictures of herself and Aurora to Ryan, which he didn't know about that, even though he claimed this whole episode he knew everything that was going on, everything that was said, all the details. Turns out he didn't. Basically found out Gypsy was emotionally cheating on him, and that's why he hasn't proposed to her still. And that's the end of the episode. They kind of teased like they were going to do a season 3, but it has been confirmed that there is no season 3. Gypsy's come out now that her NDA's ended and the show's over and not getting rewritten. That she claims, I posted the lives actually. You can go onto my page and watch the lives where she explains this stuff. Basically says that they didn't want to continue the show because she wanted to keep blurring out Aurora's face. They don't really give a shit. They would have kept blurring the face or done angles where they don't show Aurora's face, stuff like that. I think it was just because your show got boring and you revealed everything online before it aired. Ryan at least had some semblance of the keeping it quiet. But no, not you. So you ruined it for everybody, Gypsy. They don't have their house anymore. They couldn't afford their rent, so they moved into an apartment in a small town, from what I've heard. And they're shocked. Everyone's shocked that she moved to a small town where everybody knows your name. Dun, 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 dun. So we are officially done with season 2 of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Life After Lockup. So my next video will consist of some Gypsy Rose thoughts, and we're going to go over a post she made on TikTok, and then we're going to do a TikTok recommendation. People in my TikTok live recommended I do a Netflix documentary. I can't remember the name of it right now. Something about a catfish. But it stays in the realm of kind of like, stays on topic with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. You'll understand if you've seen it. Unknown Number, the catfish, high school catfish, something like that. And my comments here on YouTube, you guys have recommended that I do Gypsy Rose Blanchard Life After Lockup Season 1 again, because all my videos were like 10 minutes long. I breezed through them really quick. I didn't get into much of the details, so I'll be doing that a little better. And then after that, I've been dying to cover this one bitch, so get ready for it. I saw some of you in Becca Scoops live, and I saw some of you into the Weeds live. That was really cool. I like seeing you guys around. I'm recognizing names. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the recap of Life After Lockup Season 2. Obviously you did, or you wouldn't be here still. So if you like it, could you like the video and maybe subscribe? Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more. Just hold on for one more day.